What's up guys, this is Valentina with Bigger Creations, and today we're going to talk about how to get clean vocals. The truth is, not everyone has access to $1 million studio, and there's going to be background noise no matter what when you do a recording, even in a home studio that's fairly well treated acoustically. So today we're going to talk about how to get the cleanest recording up front as possible for your space. And then on top of that, we're gonna go over a plugin from Waves that just came out that I think is a game changer when it comes to noise reduction in the post-processing. So once you've recorded your audio and you still have noise that you need to deal with, this is gonna change everything. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is the levels at which you need to record. Make sure you get a recording that is as clean as possible. And to do that, you have to make sure that you're recording at the right levels. So what I like to do is I like to set up just an audio track and then take a look at the input meter right there. I'm just singing so you can see what my input level should be. So if you take a look at the meter while I was singing, we want to make sure that the peaks of your vocal are hitting -6. And basically, that means consistently you're going to be under that, of course, but your peaks, the highest points, the highest input should be at -6. And that way you have enough headroom to work with when it comes to your recording, but you're also not recording too low that then basically when you have to raise the volume of your audio file, you're raising all the noise that the mic captured as well. Now, obviously, once you've recorded, before you start processing your vocal, you want to make sure that you gain stage so that once you start adding things to your vocal chain, you don't start distorting and getting unwanted clipping in your vocal. But this gives you the cleanest recording to work with so that then you can start processing it. And if you want to know a little bit more about gain staging, I made a video all about it, so I'll leave a link to it up here. Now that we have a clean recording to work with and we've gain staged it, let's take a look at the new noise reduction plugin from Waves called Clarity Vocals. Okay, so I've got my vocals in here, they're gain staged, and I've got just like a basic MIDI track here to kind of just bring it all together. We're really going to be focusing on the vocals on here, so it's not really a full production, but take a listen to the vocals. I'm going to take off the reverb effects, so it's just a dry vocal, just my clean vocal chain without adding any noise reduction. This is where you can really tell the difference of whether you had the best possible recording to begin with. So I recorded these vocals right here in this space. It's fairly well treated, but there's still background noise. I always get like a garbage truck outside or lawnmower. The AC goes on and off. There's always some sort of sound. My Mac has a fan that goes off. So there's going to be some ambient noise in here that we can take out with this plugin, but you'll get an idea of what we can actually remove if you had really extreme circumstances. Let me show you what it sounds like with the reverb and everything, just so you get an idea of what we're working with here.
I wish that I could say I'm done, finished with my last heartbreak, but I just keep dreaming with my eyes open, and all I can see is your face. Yeah, I just keep dreaming, although I'm wide awake.
Okay, so there we have our vocals, and there we have the garbage truck outside. That's pretty loud. Should have been recording while I was doing this. So we've got the vocals here. I'm going to take off all of the reverb and the delay so that it's just a dry vocal. This is what it sounds like by itself. No noise reduction added at all.
I wish that I could say I'm done.
Do you hear that in between the words? Like, there is some noise there. I don't know if you can hear that.
I wish that I could say I'm done, finished with my last heartbreak, but I just keep dreaming with my eyes open, and all I can see is your face.
So all in all, this is a very, very clean recording, especially once you start adding instruments to it. You're really not going to notice this noise because this is already processed. This is a compressed vocal. I've EQ'd it. I've done all sorts of things to it, de-ess it. And especially when you compress something, it will oftentimes emphasize any noise that's going on in the recording. This is a good recording. This is a pretty clean recording. Now, if I wanted to get rid of that, like especially if this is kind of just a very subtle and soothing song, there's probably not going to be a ton of production behind it. And so there might be moments where it's just going to be the vocal going on. And we definitely don't want that noise to be coming through. So here is the new plugin from Waves. It's called Clarity Vocals. They have two versions. They have this version, which is just like out of the box type version. And then there's a pro level version that's made for a little bit more surgical and specific needs. Now that one is honestly, because it's so detailed, it's really meant more for an engineer that really knows what they're doing, that needs to like fine tune certain noises and things like that in the recording. Today, I'm just going to be going over the basic one, which is just Clarity Vocals. And as you notice, it is like the simplest interface, which I love simple interfaces because you really understand what you're doing. Because you just turn one knob and see the difference and hear the difference. So I really like that. So first, just as a little tour of how this works, basically there are two broad levels. The first one is kind of more for just subtle background noise, like my computer fan that's in this recording, and designed to still keep the detail in the main voice that's being recorded and eliminate those background noises. If you need to do something a little bit more aggressive, like a lawnmower or a garbage truck that's outside, or like a refrigerator or something like that, then you can switch it to broad number 2, and that is going to have a bigger impact on those background noises while still keeping the clarity in the main recording. So whatever is closest to the mic. Right now we're dealing with a mono recording, and that's why we don't have any stereo settings here. But if this was a stereo track, then we'd be able to see the left channel and the right channel and then make decisions on the noise on each of those channels. But in this case, and most of the time when you're recording just a clean main vocal, you're dealing with just a mono recording. And so that's what I'm going to be showing you guys today. Because we just have a little bit of subtle background noise, let's just start with broad 1 and listen to what it's doing here. So right now I'm going to put it all the way at 0. That means it's not doing anything. And then I'm going to start playing with the knobs so that we can hear what it's doing.
I wish that I could say I'm done, finished with my last heartbreak, but I just keep dreaming with my eyes open, and all I can see is your face. Yeah, I just keep dreaming, although I'm wide awake.
Okay, so I hope you could hear the difference. What I noticed here is that when I push it to 100%, I am losing some of that crispiness in the high frequencies. So it's definitely extreme if you use it at 100. You know, it's a lot better when you tone it down a little bit, but I think somewhere between like 30 to 40% for this kind of noise is perfect. It's not noticeable. It's not really impacting the main recording, the vocal. I'm not noticing any sort of deterioration in the quality, which usually when you're using some sort of denoiser, you start feeling like the vocal sounds like it's in like a little like box of rice is how I can explain it. And so there aren't any weird artifacts happening here, which I love. And it's really keeping the clarity of the vocal. Hence, that's why it's called clarity. Let's switch over to broad number 2. And also there's some presets here. So I just had it on reduce light constant noise, which is what we're dealing with. We're really just, what we're hearing in the background is just my IMAX fan going off. So there are obviously different settings here that help with some of the intensity that you can kind of start with as a starting point. Let's move to broad number 2, which is made to be used for more extreme and severe noise. But I think there's a place for it for something subtle too. Let's listen to what it does. So let's start at 0.
I wish that I could say I'm done, finished with my last heartbreak, but I just keep dreaming with my eyes open, and all I can see is your face. Yeah, I just keep dreaming, although I'm wide awake.
So this is very interesting. Broad number 2 is made for more severe background noises, and it really hones in on whatever's closest to the mic. And because of that, I feel like it's actually maintaining some of the clarity in the top end that broad number 2 didn't, if I were to push it at 100%. But again, I don't think it needs to be at 100%, but to show you the intensity of how well this works, the vocal does not sound destroyed at all. It sounds clear, clean. My EQ is still intact. I'm still getting all of those high frequencies that I like in my vocals so that they're crispy and they kind of lay on top of the mix very easily. This is pretty impressive. And honestly, I love that it's just one knob. You don't have to worry about like all these weird buttons and intricate things to figure out how to get the noise out of your recording. Now, if you want to see some more like extreme demonstrations, Waves actually has a video on their YouTube channel where they have literally like someone with a chainsaw and like a lawnmower going off, computer fan really close to the mic while this lady is singing. So I think for people like us that record in our home where, you know, we have lives, we have families, we have things going on around outside of our room and even inside of our room, this is the perfect denoising tool because it's easy and it's actually effective and still maintains the great clarity and quality in your recording. So there you have it, guys. That is how you get a clean recording. Make sure your input levels peak at -6 to get the cleanest recording possible, and then use a great denoising plugin like Clarity Vocals. If you want to check it out, I'll put a link to it in the description. I believe it's on sale right now because it just came out, so save a few bucks and cop it now. But thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss future videos. And as always, if you ever have any questions or want to see more content, check me out on Instagram or TikTok. Keep making beats.